Hey guys, today we're going to look at PowerPoint, which is probably the most common presentation tool you'll use in your college career. Some of the technological gurus are using things like Prezi. Prezi is kind of a new PowerPoint, so to speak, and there are a number of other ones that have tried to replicate or make PowerPoint better. But PowerPoint is tried and true, it's tested, it works, and we're going to look at how to make it work today. So the very first thing we're going to look at is creating new slides and changing layouts. Now, you'll see here that under the Home tab I have Layout and I have New Slide. Now, Layout will just change the layout of the slide. The most common you'll see is Title and Content. That's probably the one you'll use the most because it's just kind of a title page and you put your content in there, blah, blah, blah. You're all done. Now you have some other options here. You can compare two things. You can have two pieces of content. You can have a content with a caption, picture with a caption. You have a number of things, and you tailor the slide to what you need to present. If you have a picture that you need to look at with a caption, then do that, As far as creating new slides, if you click on this slide here, it will automatically create the slide that you previously had. So you'll see here that I had a picture with a caption. I created the new slide by clicking that, and it created a new picture with a caption slide. If you want to select which new slide you're going to make, you just simply hit this drop down menu here, New Slide, and then select which one you want. Now, we're going to look at design, kind of fancying up your PowerPoint here. So under the Design tab, you have all of these kind of custom variants of PowerPoint. Each of them will change the whole layout of your PowerPoint. Personally, I like this one. I like to use that one. That one just works for me. But I will leave that up to you, and I will show you here that some of the different PowerPoints have different pre-made slide layouts. So you'll see that this one has quote with a caption, 3-picture column, 3-column, name card. So be aware of that when you're choosing which design template you'd like to use. Okay. Now, as far as inserting pictures, I'm just going to go to this slide here, and I'm going to change the layout of the slide to a, let's see here, how about a picture with a caption? Oh, that's the one we had. Fantastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this picture icon. Click the picture icon. I'm going to pick something, how about a picture of the good old owl. Now, obviously, that picture is way too small, or too large, rather, for our space here, so I'd have to go back and look for a picture that was smaller. But that's how you insert pictures. You can also take them from the internet. You can just kind of select one in Google Images, say that you want to copy the image, then come back to your PowerPoint, click somewhere, and then just paste it, and you'll see that the image is here. And I can edit the size of that image by dragging the margins around. So I'll leave that up to you as how you want to do that. The formatting gets a little tough. As you'll see here, it's moving around that text box if you simply paste an image into PowerPoint. But, maybe you can make it work for yourself. Now, as far as hyperlinks, hyperlinks are very important. Maybe you want to access a YouTube video, maybe you want to, take them to some other place within the PowerPoint. I'm going to show you how to make two hyperlinks using text and using a shape. But we're only going to look at external hyperlinks, so links to YouTube videos, which is the most common, I would say. So I'm going to take this URL. Then I'm going to come up here, and what I'll do first is I'll just type some text. I'll say YouTube clip. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that text then, right click, and then you'll see that it says hyperlink. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the address into the address bar here and hit OK. Now you'll see here that there's a link to section, and I have existing file or web page. That is the default. However, you can link them to email addresses, Outlook email addresses, and a different place in this document. So if you wanted to link them to another slide, perhaps you would use this option. And as you can see here, this is kind of the navigation for which slides you want to put where. But we're just going to go back and press OK here. And that's going to be a hyperlink that we can then use. Now, as far as putting shapes in there, some people like to do this. If you go to the Insert tab and just go ahead and hit Shapes, we can draw a little shape. I'm going to draw a little happy face here. I'm going to right-click on the happy face and just do the same exact thing. Hyperlink, paste the address, and make it there. And then let's see if they work. Just to double check, I'm going to hit slideshow. And this is how you will begin the slideshow, either from the beginning or from current slide. I know that I always see people get up there to give presentations and then they never really know how to start the slideshow. They're up here at view and they're at home and they don't know where to really go. So this is slideshow from the beginning or from current slide. Since we want slide 4, we're just going to hit from current slide. And you'll see that these do indeed hyperlink. If I click on that, it brings me to a web browser and starts this YouTube video. Fantastic, right? I'm going to come back here. Okay, now what I want to show you is transitions. Now, transitions are what happens between slides. So if you've ever seen those things where they kind of fade in, or they're like a checkerboard, or maybe there's a big circle, all of those things are transitions between slides, and it kind of eases the eyes rather than just having boom, boom, boom. We'll look at transitions. So if you just go to the Transitions tab, you can just add a transition. This is what will happen when this slide comes in. See, and it'll look like that. I'll add another transition on this slide, and I'm just picking kind of random ones here, guys. You can do whatever you like. See, these are all pretty cool, actually. Boing. All right, those are transitions in a nutshell. It's just something to kind of make your PowerPoint a little bit more fancy. It's kind of fun to throw those in there if you have the extra time when you're making your presentation, and it's easier on the eyes for the people looking at it. The last thing I want to show you is animations. Now, animations are probably going to be the most complicated part in this whole thing. So I'm going to go back to slide 2 here with all of this text, and I'm going to add some animations to this. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my animations pane is open so I know what's going on. The animations pane here, I'm just going to click it, and it's going to bring this up in the sidebar here. Now, say I want each of these to come down one after another. I don't want them all to just show up instantly when I go to the next slide. I want them to come in one at a time. Now, I will highlight the first thing that I want to come in. I will click Add Animation. Now, you have a couple of different ones. So you have entrance, emphasis, and exit animations. Now, I like to come into the More Entrance Effects, because this gives you the basic, the subtle, the moderate, and the exciting animations. You probably want to stick with stuff that's fairly basic. This stuff can sometimes get distracting, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you the boomerang here. And I'm just going to hit OK. And you'll see here, on here, this says on click. So anytime I start this slide, anytime I start this slide, it's going to come in as soon as I click either on the mouse or the next button on the keyboard. You see how that keeps coming in? Now all of the other stuff is already there. Now there's two things. We don't usually want something to start on click, or at least I prefer not having to click a million times to get all my stuff coming. So what I would do is I would say to start after previous. So that means it starts after the previous animation, and the previous animation in this case is the transition from the first slide to the second slide. So if I say start with previous, start after previous, what we'll do is we'll play from this this current slide. Whoops. Let's see. From the current slide, there we go, and we go to the next one, and there it came in automatically after that transition was done. Very cool stuff. Now if I wanted to add another one, I would simply highlight it, then come over to the animations tab again, added animation, and this time I'm going to swivel it. Alright, and what I want this guy to do is I want him to start after the previous one as well. Okay, so now if we look at this, check it out, we go to slideshow, we go from current slide, that one comes in, then that one comes in. And you'll see that they all kind of come in sequentially. You know, there's a lot of customization here. These options simply mean if you start on click, when you click something, it's going to begin that animation. If you start with previous, it means it's coming at the same time as the other animation. So if I wanted these two to come in at the same time but do a separate animation, I would use that start with previous option. But start after previous is probably the most common one to use, and that's it, kind of in a nutshell. It's a lot of customization kind of left up to you. Depends on what you want to do, how fancy you want to make your presentation. But this is a very basic introduction if you don't want to just have a PowerPoint, click to it, and just have everything there immediately, and you want to add some flair to it. So I hope this helps, guys. This is PowerPoint in a nutshell.